You know, being able to slow down and take in a sight like this, it really makes you think about things. It was 10 years ago that we last had a true mainline Mario Kart release. What were we even doing 10 years ago? What were our goals back then? Did we think Mario Kart 8 was the greatest game ever? And most importantly, why is this Toad so large? That's not normal, right? He is a frighteningly big boy. Hello everyone, it's so good to see you. We are here after so much waiting to witness the release of Mario Kart World. We only learned what this game would look like a mere half a year ago, and only got a real sense of what it would be within the last couple of months. And now, with the launch of the Switch 2, we've properly entered a whole new chapter of not just Mario Kart, but Nintendo as a whole. For the longest time, we've wondered how a sequel to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe could possibly outdo itself, especially with the Booster Course Pass. As we've seen with many games over the last decade, the answer is simple: do something completely different, or at least change it up enough that gives you a new perspective as to what this series can be. Mario Kart World takes the kart racing genre that we're familiar with and breaks it wide open. Gone are the days of tracks living within their own segmented locations. This game features, as you may expect from the title, an entire interconnected world. These courses aren't just a looping road that exists somewhere in the Mushroom Kingdom. Now, every track is contextually planted between roads, set pieces, and each other. Think of your two favorite tracks in this series, and imagine a road or path that will eventually connect them together. It is a big world with over 30 traditionally named courses, though with the way that there are multiple paths and connecting roads, it's not so outlandish to say that there are well over 100. Mario Kart World hosts 8 different cups. Each cup usually consists of a mix of classic and brand new tracks, though there are some that are formatted in a way where I can't really recognize them unless I was super familiar with the original design. Peach Beach, for example, starts off in a traditional layout, looking more gorgeous than ever, but then it becomes a 3-part drive between a cozy little town where we fly and traverse between buildings along the surface of the ocean and eventually ending up back on the main beach. Instead of recreating the main track and calling it a day, many of these locations will have several more components to them in a 3-lap race or more. In one case, you could say that they went the extra mile to incorporate a single track into a large world. On the other hand, making the classic track only a single lap might take away from some of its identity for others. I am personally very excited to know that there are various combinations of roads to race on. It's like having 2 cakes and being able to eat them both. Or, race on both. Sky High Sundae almost counts for that, right? Oh, but we've got cakes alright. Cakes, sundaes, burgers, bone-in meats, pastries, you name it. When you pass by the unique food item, you not only get a boost, but you also just might give your character a new costume. The devs heard our outcry to give characters new outfits and have mostly sufficiently given us what we'd like. There's some outfits from Mario Kart Tour, some from existing games like Super Mario Odyssey, some clearly inspired by other avenues of the series' long history, as well as original outfits. Unfortunate to see some of them get shafted though. I get that Mario and Peach have more outfits than the others, but did they really just give Pauline one outfit and call it there? Not even her new Donk City mayor outfit? Show some respect! I wouldn't be surprised if Pauline showed her own dissatisfaction because the characters of this game are so expressive and alive. Everyone is overflowing with charm and expression, from their tricks, peeking to the side when looking backwards, and psyching themselves up before a race. And what really helps this is giving your karts and bikes a layer of expression as well. Mario Kart World employs the animation technique of squash and stretch on both characters and vehicles to make them feel more alive than ever before. You can quickly see this anytime you hold down the drift button. You'll flatten down and charge up for a hop, helpful for getting that extra bit of elevation too. Your wheels also grow in size when you're off-roading, meant to tell you that you're losing speed. We've left behind the realism of metal and framework in favor of making the karts livelier into their own character. And when I see my crew vibing like this, it's hard to imagine when our karts weren't this expressive. But if there's something that has remained the same, it's how capable our karts are. We can drift, glide, and surf all over this wide world. There is such a wild mix of elements that helps make each race stand out from the others. One of the major new elements added to this game is the ability to grind on rails. Approach any thin path, from railings, train tracks, power cables, and more, to begin balancing atop it. You'll also build up energy to boost with a jump, as indicated by the sparks from your wheels. You can leap up and to the sides, either to another rail or even the walls. With some clever maneuvering, you can temporarily drive across walls and bounce back and forth between some, creating your own shortcuts and new paths. Driving on the walls is not as heavily focused on as grinding, but they often work well in tandem with one another. That's just part of the theming of this game, being able to break away from normal conventions and make these tracks your own playgrounds. There is a larger emphasis on verticality this time around. In the transition to Mario Kart World, we've lost the ability of anti-gravity, but after spending quality time with these tracks, I think this game manages to completely break free of it. The game crafts its own identity without feeling obligated to rely on its past conventions. Honestly, anti-gravity only occasionally shined because, from the driver's perspective, you're always driving upright. It did add the ability to bump between other karts for a boost, but the feature was largely for the spectacle to view in replays and such. Underwater driving was mostly the same as driving on dry land since Mario Kart 8, only with slightly different physics. Now, your karts shape into watercrafts that present an experience more akin to wave race. There is a greater need to maintain momentum as you bob up and down in the water, further giving utility to holding down drift and making your vehicle hop upward. I am certainly still earning my fins when it comes to racing on water, so to speak, but it's honestly refreshing to learn new methods of racing after all these years. Gliding, while making a return, hasn't changed as dramatically and is usually a function used to transition from one set piece to another. Your kart turns into planes now, and you do have a little extra control of yourself in the air. That goes for the entire game, just the freedom of movement. If you're still driving like this is Mario Kart 8, you're holding yourself back just a bit. Once you start to understand the capabilities and freedom of your movements, everything really starts to fall into place. This whole new perspective has made some items, like the feather, make a dynamic comeback. Not only can it be used to avoid incoming items or obstacles, but you can also utilize it to leap onto a wall or assist you to reach a higher elevation. Mario Kart tracks are traditionally very stiff and formulaic in their designs, but this new philosophy has allowed it to come back into proper races. There's also new items too, like the hammer that can implant hazards into the floor after throwing them. Ice flowers can freeze your opponents, shells and blocks help to give a greater emphasis on coins, and the Kamek item. This causes multiple hazards to appear on the track, and sometimes even changes you to a new racer as well. You'll need to acclimate yourself to all these elements if you want to master the mode that truly stands out in this game. That is, of course, Knockout Tour. It's an elimination mode with 24 racers to start. After each of the 6 segments, the 4 in last place get eliminated until only 1 is left standing. This mode takes full advantage of the interconnecting roads of the world, as each rally takes you from one end of the map to the other. You may have heard this mode being compared to F-Zero 99, and they're mostly right. You feel that frantic panic of trying to stay ahead just far enough to not be eliminated once that next goal is in sight. It's kind of like a more streamlined version of Grand Prix, and works very well in context of the game's design. With 24 racers, Mario Kart World is even closer to the standard 30 of a traditional F-Zero game. Well, if that series had items anyway. Because if there's anything that's made me double take, it's the use of items by CPUs in this game. Everyone is so aggressive with items now. For the first time, it feels like I'm playing with other humans in some cases. I will get attacked by 3 red shells in a row, you know, evenly spaced out just enough so they can generously let me eat all 3 of them. They'll use a mushroom to cut corners and get ahead. I have gotten attacked by a green shell with a suspicious amount of accuracy within the same Grand Prix, as if I was being specifically targeted. I'm just here, minding my own business, and what? There was this one race where I kept getting nothing but mushrooms, but I could not catch up to anybody while I was stuck in 4th. And within those same races, sometimes I see a couple of CPUs getting hung up on a wall on a sharp turn, very realistically to a human player. It's a bit frightening how similar both single player and online modes feel with the way CPUs have been programmed now. And if you want someone to fight, you can take that to battle mode as well. The only options right now are Balloon Battle and Coin Runners. No Bob-omb Blast, Renegade Roundup, and unfortunately no Shine Thief either. Scheduled for a future update? More than likely. But we've got something to work with here at least. Classic Balloon Battle has you scoring points by attacking others and popping one of their 5 balloons. If all yours are popped, you're out of there. You just don't come back. This mode is timed, most likely due to the stages being large to accommodate 24 players. But maybe they're a little too large? The stages like Moo Moo Meadows get closed off and feel somewhat like the battle modes from the original Mario Kart 8. Not too sure how I feel about that one. And yet, it would take far too long to have all 24 people pop each and every last balloon, so a time limit does work best here. The other mode is Coin Runners, where you fight to collect as many coins as possible while also beating them out of your opponents. It's pretty straightforward and makes me want to go back to Balloon Battle instead. Battle mode isn't groundbreaking or anything, and often defaults to chasing each other around in a huge area while minding your surroundings. Oh, but I was surprised that Big Donut is only a small part of a larger track. And that's when I realized they pretty much all are. Battle stages that are built as a dedicated arena tend to work out better functionally. Overall, not the mode that I'll be playing very much. Friend lobbies though are interesting. In a set of 4 races, for example, you each vote on the destination of the next track between the ones connected to the previous one. Or, if you prefer, you could run traditional 3-lap races instead. The game serves as a constant reminder that this is a vast and seamless world, especially while you're getting Mario Karted by your friends. But if you're just tired of competing, you are very much welcome to free roam with any character and carve that you desire. You can unlock more costumes, discover hidden switches to unlock decals, and even find hidden challenges with these P-switches scattered in every little corner. And you know what really makes this come together? What really ties this into a nice little package is the music. Over 200 tracks from across Mario's entire history, and not just Mario Karts, all wonderfully orchestrated with live instruments, from upbeat rock themes to smooth jazz. I know you might have heard some examples from posts by Nintendo, but it truly only scratches the surface. Bowser's Galaxy Generator, the final stage from Super Mario Galaxy 2, the main theme from Yoshi's Story, the feels that I felt when I heard the File Select theme from Super Mario 64. The File Select theme? This is like the one song from Super Mario 64 that I never expected Nintendo to remix. It doesn't have any reason to sound this hot, but I am just so happy that it exists. As a collection of music and technically a remix album, this is one of Nintendo's greatest soundtracks ever. Music will seamlessly blend into tracks as well. In the build-up to Wario Stadium, for example, you hear the first notes as you enter the track, looping until you reach the proper start of the lap. From then, the song brings in the rest of the instruments and the nostalgia. The blend of old and new washes right over me. And I think that's pretty special. The game pays plenty of respects to its roots, as well as paving the way to the future. Realistically speaking, there's only so much a Mario Kart can do if it wants to innovate, but it always has room to artistically grow. And the breadth of a game like this is only possible on the Switch too, and with the assistance of Monolith Soft, because of course they helped work on this game. I am still somewhat in shock, awe, and disbelief that we're playing a new Mario Kart title made for home consoles after a decade, and not just an expanded version of a game that already kept getting DLC. There are some aspects of this game that are odd choices. Funny enough, mostly with the roster. Why are all the costumes in separate slots and not just in a folder when you pick a single character? Mario Kart 8 already figured this out with picking things like your Yoshi color, guys. Some characters need more costumes, and there are some omissions that I am just astounded by. I'd like to have some more Kongs, please. And if there's one thing about the tracks that we can make a big note of, it's that some of the roads that connect from one location to the next sometimes get kinda samey. There are times I'm driving on a long, wide, straight road where I'm not really doing a whole bunch. I suppose it's inevitable given the nature of a game where every locale is connected like this. The real world does have highways after all. And this game has about 200 combinations of roads to take. There will be some more thoughtfully constructed, so to speak, than others. Maybe once something like 200cc is released, it'll help recontextualize many of these locations. Maybe they'll add some of these to an eventual New Donk City update, maybe? Because clearly, this game is going to receive more content in the future. Whether that's more modes, characters, tracks, or all of the above, we'll just have to wait and see. The price point of $80 for a Mario Kart title does sting for those who are not going to be getting the Switch 2 bundle. Is this game worth the price points? As of right now, no, not at all. The massive world is impressive and you can spend a lot of time exploring along with friends, but there is a finite amount of things you can do here. With that price point, I would hope and pray that Nintendo will be rolling out free updates and content additions, but I'm uncertain about that. With a development period even longer than The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, there has to be so much more that we haven't seen yet. While that remains a mystery for now, there is no doubt that a lot of love, attention, and care has gone into this game. It's addictive, charismatic, and might even bring a tear to your eye. The tracks are beautifully themed, free roam is a great way to fully appreciate the environment, and Knockout Tour often has me craving for just one more round. With all of that said, GVG gives Mario Kart World, a launch title for the Switch 2, a 9 out of 10. It's an excellent direction to take, and it brings a fresh, revitalized feeling to a genre that was starting to feel like it had done it all. and it makes so much sense to turn this into a launch title. Witnessing what a Nintendo title can bring in 4K has me so excited for what we can expect in the future. And we'll be there to cover it and more right here on GVG. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this review, please consider supporting us on Patreon, following us on Bluesky, and watching us on Twitch. We have got so much more to come, so be sure to stay tuned. Alright everyone, take care of yourselves on the road out there. Till we meet again.